Hello everyone and welcome to a Replica Airguns air rifle review. We're taking a look at the Crosman MK-177 Multi-Pump .177 caliber pellet rifle, and it's also a 4.5 millimeter BB rifle as well, so it shoots both pellets and BBs. And this is the tabletop and shooting or field test review all in one. So if you're just looking to see this gun shoot, you'll want to probably fast forward to somewhere in the middle or closer to the end. Alright, I want to thank Crosman for sending this gun for review. It's always appreciated. Now if you haven't noticed, it's styled after the Scar assault rifle. So I'll bring, well, the closest thing that I have, and this is my wee Scar MK16, and you'll see that it's similar in design, although not exact. Alright, this gun is made in the USA with some foreign components. It does come in a cardboard box. Now I have the kit version, so mine came with the red dot scope. Here's the box. Typically you'll get the glasses, 2 magazines, BBs, pellets, and a bag. Now this is a review model that was sent to me, so I didn't actually get the bag, so I can't show you that. But I did get the BBs, the pellets, 2 magazines, the red dot. I'll just show you these here, BBs and pellets, sort of like a combined all-in-one tin. I'll get that out of the way. 2 magazines. Now I did try to put pellets, or sorry, I did try to put BBs in one of the magazines. They will kind of go in there, but they're not really held in tight. One thing I would almost suggest Crosman do is maybe make a dedicated BB magazine, because I think loading BBs into this hopper and all that is kind of silly, considering it is a multi-pump gun. You're not going to be shooting 350 rounds too often with it in one sitting. I can see you shooting, maybe 10 or 20. So fill up these magazines a few times and that's good to go. And of course it came with some nice eye protection glasses here. And these ones work really good. They're not really obtrusive. They're nice and compact. They work quite well. Put those out of the way. Now it does come fully assembled, because there really isn't a lot to assemble here. There's not a lot of actual working parts. We'll get into that more, but there's no folding stock. The magazine doesn't come out. So it's pretty much fully assembled with the exception of the red dot. You have to put the red dot on. Let's talk about some of the specifications. This gun again shoots .177 caliber pellets and 4.5 millimeter steel BBs through its rifled barrel. It is a multi-pump air rifle, and I would recommend you shoot between 3 to 10 pumps. Crosman says no more than 10 pumps. I did try it with 1 pump. It did shoot, but you could literally see the pellet going out the barrel, flying along. So if you had a heavy tight pellet, it might get stuck in the barrel. Not a big deal. You could pump it up a few times and get that pellet out of there. And again, it also has the 5-round pellet magazines. Okay. It has a 350 round BB hopper, so the hopper, and I'll show you where that's fed in later, but the hopper gets fed, you load your BBs in the hopper, and then there's like an internal 18 round magazine that you sort of rotate the gun over, then you gravity feed that 18 round internal magazine and then close it up, and then you can shoot 18 rounds in between pumps, of course. Now this is a single shot bolt action repeater. I'll show you a little bit more about that later. It also has a cross bolt safety, typical Crosman cross bolt safety. Now the bolt does need to be cocked each time you fire it, keep that in mind. It has a 16.75 inch rifled barrel. The overall length of the gun is 33 inches. It weighs a whopping 3.5 pounds. Kind of being sarcastic there. It is fairly lightweight, but that could be a bonus. Some people don't want real heavy guns to carry around all day. Now that 3.5 pounds is equivalent to 1,588 grams. Crosman claims it shoots up to 800 FPS using BBs and up to 750 FPS using pellets. Now I would imagine those are super lightweight, probably aluminum pellets or some sort of super lightweight high velocity pellet. Now in Canada, the detuned version will shoot under 495 FPS. This is the US version, and so it does shoot a little faster than the Canadian version. Now again, most of this gun is polymer or plastic. It does have some metal internal parts. Now I quickly want to just show you a very similar gun from Crosman. I'm sure you're all going to want to see it kind of in comparison. This is the M4-177, and Crosman's done a few different things. You'll notice the bolt on the MK-177 is on the left side. It's on the right side on the M4-177. I kind of like it on the right side because then you can do everything from one location. Feed your magazine and rack your bolts. So that's kind of nice. I don't know why they moved it. They also moved the BB hopper from the left side on the M4-177 to the right side on the MK-177. That doesn't really matter to me, but it has been moved. Same crossbolt safety. Now the Crosman M4-177 has this removable magazine, a good use of space. So you can put things in there, maybe throw some pellets, extra magazines like these little guys could go in there. Now let's just take a look at the magazines really quick. I haven't actually done that. Are they the same? They do in fact look to be the same. So you could, I haven't tried it, but I'm imagining you could mix and match these magazines. So that's kind of good to know. Alright, again, multi-pump. The Crosman M4-177 does have an adjustable stock, so it does have the adjustable stock, removable magazine, slightly rearranged components on it, but other than that, they're sort of the same style of gun. Now I added the scope on my M4-177, normally just came with iron sights. I do want to mention that the MK-177 comes in a iron sight configuration, and so this version did not come with iron sights, it came with the red dot, so if you bought it with the iron sights, you could then add a red dot fairly easily. Now adding iron sights to this model, you'd have to buy standalone iron sights for it, but then you could buy whatever you want. And typically the SCAR sights are the low profile. They come with like a low profile pistol sight that flips up into a rifle sight. So you could buy those and add it onto this gun. Alright, let's do a quick walk around. I want to just show you around. We'll take a look at the left side. So you have this sort of flash or muzzle hider, muzzle brake, flash hider on the front. This is pretty much plastic, so everything about this gun I'm showing you is plastic. Really the only metal will be inside. So here's your multi-pump. There's no pellets in this gun. Alright, there's your bolt. When you pull it back, you'll see here, it cocks it when you pull it back, and then this little rod pushes a pellet in through the magazine. So you can see it better with the magazine out. And then when you pull it forward, you're able to shoot it. Right, you have your crossbolt safety here. Alright, magazine is molded in. There's really no way to get this out unless you were to cut it off somehow, but then you wouldn't be able to put it back in. All of this is molded in. Okay, this doesn't work. Even these little pseudo fake screws are just molded in. The rear stock is completely molded in. Now, one advantage to everything being molded in is it's not going to break on you. There's nothing really too much to go wrong with this gun. And the rubber butt stock is nice. It's nice and rubber. It's not plastic, it is rubber. It feels good, so that is nice. Now your cheek rest, it looks like it's adjustable, is not. Okay, you do have a rail for, say, a laser or an optical light of some sort. Let's flip it around. Okay, well actually I did sort of show that. Let's just quickly show that. So again, that's where your bolt is. Now when you feed your magazine, you feed it, and you can see how it fits in there. You do have to pull the bolt back, and you just load it in. First click will be the first pellet, right? So click 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then you're done, right? So every time you would push your bolt forward, backwards and forwards to shoot it, okay? So the first click is a pellet being loaded. Keep that in mind, otherwise you're going to waste a pellet every time. Alright, I'll keep that out. Now, this is where you would load your BBs into the 350 round hopper, load them in there via gravity, and then you push this guy forward. Use gravity to feed the BBs from this internal hopper into the internal magazine. Once it has its 18 BBs, you flick that back. You then need to put your magazine in the gun, at least to some sort of location, so that the BB has somewhere to go when you pull it back. And there's a magnet on the bolt that grabs the BB and loads it into the chamber. So once your 18 BBs are done, you're done. Now I did try loading BBs in here, and the problem was they don't go in very good. So the first 3 stayed in because they're blocked, but the last 2 kind of fell out when I was shooting it just from vibration. So you could put the first 3 in here and easily shoot them, and then have a 3-shot repeater going on. It would be neat if Crosman made, whoops, grab the other one. It'd be neat if Crosman made a dedicated BB magazine that held the BBs in place, maybe even a 10 rounder. Something like that would be cool. Alright, again another rail. Again let's take a look at this way here. Got your MK-177, your Crosman branding there. Again your BB hopper, BB switch for the magazine. Okay, you do have some sling mounts here in a few locations for a sling if you want to put a sling on there. Nice pistol grip. The trigger's okay. It's not terrible. There's a bit of creep, but it's fairly light, maybe 4 pounds roughly. Okay, it is plastic like everything else on this gun. Okay, put that down for now. Hold on, let's take a quick look at the red dot here. The red dot is nice. You know, the actual optics are good on it. It's nice and clear. It's not a fuzzy red dot. Some red dots, the cheaper ones, the actual dot will be kind of fuzzy. And this is nice and sharp. And you have different brightness levels, which is great. It's easy to adjust. It's easy to put on. Sorry, I'm working around my actual tripod here. It's nice and compact. Really, it's all you need for a non-magnified red dot. Nothing wrong with that. Didn't really look too much at the top, but it is a plastic rail along the top. You could mount things to the front part here or along this long rail, so no problems there. Again, your rubber butt pad there, quite nice. Alright, so at this point we're going to head outside. I'm going to put some shots through the chronograph, then I'm going to head back 30 feet and put 10 rounds into the target from a semi-rested position. Now I do want to tell you right off the bat, my chronograph was not working so well for me. I was able to get a 3-pump chronograph reading, a 5-pump chronograph reading, and one 10-pump chronograph reading using 6.9 grain RWS pellets. I worked really hard trying to get some more shots for you, but my chronograph just was not cooperating. So I'm going to be kind of fast forwarding or skipping through that part of the test so that you don't have to watch me trying to get a reading for you. But I will show you the 3-pump, 5-pump, and 10-pump readings. Now, I can't verify if my 10-pump reading was the norm, but I have a feeling it is. I got somewhere, I'll tell you right now, I got somewhere in the neighborhood of about 650 FPS using a 6.9 grain lead pellet. I could see a high velocity pellet doing as much as 750 feet per second out of this gun. Alright, so let's head outside and I'll show you the field test portion of this review. Alright, I'm all set up. I've got my Crosman MK-177 and we're going to shoot some pellets through the chronograph and perhaps some BBs. And I got to tell you right now, my chronograph has been acting up, so we're probably going to get some crappy readings, maybe some errors and things like that, but I think I'm hopefully going to be able to get a few on the chronograph for you. My idea here is to shoot 3 pumps for one pellet, 5 pumps for the second pellet, and then 10 pumps for the last 3 to see what the actual FPS is. Now we're going to use pellets. I do have a BB magazine. I'm going to try that as well. Let's just see if we can get through this, and hopefully my chronograph cooperates. After we're done the chronograph portion, I'm going to go back, shoot on the target from 30 feet out. So let's get the chronograph portion underway here. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Now I've had to get it really low here. I don't want to hit my chronograph obviously, but let's see if we can get a reading here. Alright, we got one. 434. That's with 3 pumps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now this gun pumps pretty nice. It doesn't really get that hard at the end. So Crosman's done a good job of making the efficiency fairly good. So 5 pumps again. Good, we got another reading. 524.5. Again, this is the US version. Shoots at up to 800 FPS. So we're going to go 10 pumps. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And again, it's really quite easy to pump up 10 times. There's really not that much to it. It doesn't really get that much heavier. Alright, let's see if we can get a reading here. Error, of course. Okay, let's see if we can get one at 10 pumps. 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Cross our fingers, let's see if we can get one. Alright. Go back just a bit. That's what I was dreading. Would be nice to get an 8 pumper or 10 pumper. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right. Cross your fingers. All right, I'm just gonna load up another mag and keep going at her. I might edit some of this out, but I want to get at least 1 8 or 10 pump shot for you guys. All right, I'm back. I got another magazine loaded up. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Let's see if I can do this. I'm dedicated to getting a result for you. Let's just hope we get one. All right, 631. All right, so let's head back and see how well this gun performs from 30 feet out in a semi-rested position. All right, so we're all set up. I've got my Crosman MK-177 and we're gonna shoot from 30 feet out semi-rested position on the target. This should go a lot better than the chronograph portion, as there's no chronograph involved that's malfunctioning. So sorry about that. Gonna have to get a new chronograph, I think, but I wanna continue on with this review. So we're gonna do 5 pumps, 5 to 10 shots. I've got 2 magazines loaded up. We'll see how we do with the first 5, and then if we want to proceed to try and maybe tighten her up or see where we're at with that, then we'll do that. So let's do the first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 pumps is good enough for this type of target shooting. I've got my red dot on here. Alright, so it should be fairly close. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. That one seemed to go a little high. To the left, actually, and high. Shot number 3. Seem to be getting a little grouping there just off to the left and high. Oh, there's a bird over there. Don't get in the way. Alright, let's take a quick look. Holy smokes, this bird isn't not too smart of a robin. Hello, robin. Not bad at all. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's a 1-inch group. Just for fun, and since the chronograph portion didn't go so well, let's put another 5 into here. Obviously shooting a little to the left, but that can be easily adjusted with the red dot. So let's put another 5 in. Why not? 1-inch group so far, not bad at all. Okay. Three, 4, 5. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. It'd be nice if the bolt and the magazine were on the same side, but they're not. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. 3 more to go. And we'll see how we're doing. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. Last guy here. See if I can get it in the same spot. That one went off a little early on me, but I think it got in there. Let's take a quick look. Yeah. pretty much the same group. Each one of these blocks is a 1-inch group, 1-inch block, and that's pretty much a 1-inch grouping there, 10 shots. Really nothing wrong with that. Don't forget, this is not a magnified scope, it's just a red dot. So it just gets me a nice pinpoint target, and perfect for this gun. I wouldn't want to shoot too far with it. Shooting at around 650 feet per second, pellets. You could use this one potentially for a small game. You're going to have to pump it up the full 10 times, I'm sure. But it's easy to pump. Trigger's not too bad, a little creepy. Would be nice if the bolt was on the other side. When you're basically your magazine one, bolt on the other. It's kind of weird, you got to flip around. But other than that, it seems to work fine, pump fine, shoot fine. If only my chronograph had worked fine today, that would have helped. Alright, let's head inside and finish up this review. Alright, I'm going to have to say, even though my chronograph kind of let me down, I'm going to have to shop around potentially for a new one. But the Crosman MK-177 did not let me down. It actually performed very well. It works pretty much as you'd expect. Now, I didn't end up shooting BBs today. I just didn't want to go down that road. I'm not a big fan of shooting BBs in a pellet or rifled pellet barrel. I don't see the advantage to that. Over time, you're going to wear the rifling down on the barrel, and then the pellets won't work quite as good. And being that it's a multi-pump gun, it's not a semi-auto, there's really no big advantage to shooting BBs. You have to reload it in exactly the same manner. You're going to have to pump it 3 to 10 times, pull the bolt back, push it forward. The only thing you're not doing is indexing the magazine. Not a big deal. It takes like a millisecond to do that. So you're not saving any time really using BBs. So again, I would just stick with pellets in the MK-177. Now if you want to just save money by shooting BBs, not worried about the rifling, well, you can load it up with BBs and go for it. Alright, let's take a look at the accuracy results I got with the pellets. And you can see here, this is a 1-inch group. You saw me shoot them. No surprises there. I was just using the red dot. So my red dot, the dot, I was aiming right here, and it takes up, I guess it would take up from where I was standing about half of this. And so, you know, it's a pretty small target from 30 feet out. To get this type of result is very good with an unmagnified scope. So there is nothing wrong with the accuracy in this gun. It's very good, and I'm pretty sure it's on par with the M4-177 in terms of accuracy. Now in terms of velocity, you know, like I said, we got around 640. I'm sure we could probably get as much as 650 with 10 pumps out of those RWS pellets. Using high velocity, super lightweight pellets, yes, I could see it getting up to 750 feet per second. But you know what, I'm going to stick with my lead pellets. I like my lead pellets, they work well for me. Alright, let's get into some of the pros and the cons. Well, it's really one of the only pellet shooting SCAR styled rifles that I know of. So if you're looking for that military assault rifle look in a pellet rifle, there's not a lot out there. So this is probably going to do it for you if you just like that look. Of course, it's not going to shoot like a SCAR. It's not going to be semi-auto. It's not going to have all these adjustable parts because it's mostly molded. But it is what it is. At the end of the day, it's basically a multi-pump rifle like any other, but reskinned to look sort of like a SCAR. Now the price for this gun is pretty good. In the US, you're sitting around $100 for the base model and not quite $150 for the kit model. So it's not really that expensive, so it's fairly well priced for a nice little accurate rifle. Again, I got really good accuracy with it. There's no complaints there. A 1-inch group using a red dot non-magnified, nothing wrong with that. Now Crosman has improved the pumping mechanism, and I do have to say the pump works very well. Not only does it give you very, very easy pumping, so even once you get to the 10th pump, it feels almost as light as the first, but it seems to conserve the energy and convert that pumping energy into good velocity overall. Now there are two versions, so if you do purchase the non-red dot version, you will get the iron sights, but you know what? It just depends what you want. Do you want open sights, or do you want to throw on some sort of optic or red dot on there? It's really up to you. So you do have the option of buying either or. Now if you do buy the iron sight version, they are adjustable, so keep that in mind. Now you will find rails, top and side, so if you want to add accessories to this gun, there's no problem doing that. Again, red dots, scopes, lasers, flashlights, you name it. Now it's kind of nice that you can shoot both pellets and BBs, but again, I would stick with pellets with this one, being that it's basically a repeater. You're going to have to pump it up anyways between shots. Now, this gun is pretty much an all-molded gun, but the advantage to that is that there's really nothing to go wrong with it. You're not going to have a magazine release that's going to break off on you, or you're going to have some sort of problem with your adjustable stock where it's sticky or who knows what, or it breaks. This is pretty much all molded. There's very little that's going to go wrong here. Alright, so some of the cons. Again, it's mostly plastic with some internal metal parts, and it is fully molded. So some people aren't going to like the lack of options. So you can't adjust anything, and all the parts that would do something on the real gun are just there for show because they're molded in. So that could be a con for some people. I also noticed that Crosman switched the bolt around to the opposite side on this gun. So now you have to feed it from one side and rack the bolt with the other. So it's kind of weird. You almost have to put your hand over top, rack the bolt with your thumb, push the magazine with your index finger. That seems to work. But it's kind of weird that they're not both on the same side. Now my last pet peeve, and I wouldn't really say this is a fault, but wouldn't it be nice if Crosman made a really simplified BB magazine that fit the BBs nicely so that they don't fall out, maybe even make it a 10 rounder or something like that. Doesn't matter if it's a little long, that'd be fine, it just sticks out a bit more. But have the option of just being able to switch up your magazine if you want to shoot BBs or pellets. Because at the end of the day, you're really not going to get that much more consecutively fast loading without the magazine system that the regular BB system works with. Alright, I want to thank you again for watching another Replica Airguns video, and again I want to thank Crosman for sending me this MK-177 for review. Don't forget to subscribe before you leave. Check us out on Facebook and Twitter. Username is Replica Airguns. Now I don't sell this gun in the Replica Airguns US or Canada store just yet. We may be adding it to the US store quicker than the Canadian store, so take a look for that down the road. Make sure to come down to the Replica Airguns website where I have an associated post or article for this gun. You'll also be able to find some more high-resolution photos of this gun for you to take a look at in detail. Sometimes I'll add a few interesting things in the article that I may have left out of the video as well. So make sure to come down to ReplicaAirguns.com for that. And again, we have our Canada and US Replica Airgun store, so come on down, check us out there. We have products for our Canadian and US customers, air guns, blank guns, airsoft guns, accessories. So come on down, check us out. Thanks for watching another Replica Airguns video. Until next time, take care.